to the wire.
Welcome to Down to the Wire. I'm Sean De Silva.
I'm Andres Rankin.
And today we're talking about the Premier League. And yeah, welcome back because we haven't been here in a month and a bit. Today we're talking about the Premier League. I know it did start last week. The week's already gone. The weekend's done. The opening weekend. And there were some pretty good games that went on. So we're here to talk about that and to talk about our predictions for the upcoming season. And we'll start with top team. Who do you got winning the league this year?
I think this is an interesting year because there's a lot of questions for almost every single team in the league. There's no real favorite. There's maybe a couple of teams that you could say are solid all the way through, but that would be stretching it. The only team that I see, or the team that I see having the least weaknesses is Manchester City. They're a little unpredictable at times. Aguero is their one prolific striker, and we know he has a very long history of injuries.
That's an understatement, but yes.
But they have an absolutely loaded midfield. They have Guardiola coming in, who is an amazing manager. He had tremendous success with Barcelona, also with Bayern Munich. So I think if you have to pick one team, it's got to be Manchester City.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you. I think in terms of overall depth of that team, if Aguero can stay healthy and continue to strike for them, they have an amazing midfield, like you said. And I think Guardiola will do amazing things with this team, and he knows how to handle the team and make them a championship team again, because Man City has been sliding down a little bit, but they've always been up there. And I think with Guardiola managing this year, he'll bring them back up to the top, and they will win the league.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be Mourinho and Guardiola part 2, and I think Mourinho's going to have to get his defense in line. That's going to be the main concern for Man U. They've made amazing changes in the midfield and forward, and I think they're going to score a lot of goals. But the question is, are they going to prevent goals from being scored on their net?
Yeah, and we'll move on to our next prediction, which is top goal scorer. Who do you have going in as top goal scorer this season?
I've got Zlatan, which is, a little bit of a bold pick. He's a prolific goal scorer, no doubt, but there is the question of how well is he going to adapt to the English league, how well is he going to adapt to his new team. Last season in France, he absolutely ran away with the title. He scored 38 goals. Next closest was 21.
Mind you, there's not much competition there for him, but...
True, but if you consider the other type of forwards in that league, scoring almost twice as much as the guys that finished second and third, still an amazing accomplishment.
I agree.
Even though the defenses in France, you could argue, are weaker than in England. He's actually adapted pretty well from when he's jumped from one team to another. So when he went from Inter to Barca, he scored 21 goals. When he went from Barcelona to Milan, again, he scored 21 goals. When he went from Milan to PSG, in his first season, he scored 35. So I think that he's going to adapt pretty quickly. He's shown that he can do that. He's working with Mourinho, a manager that he was with at Inter. And also, I think Zlatan's physicality, his build, is really going to help him out. Everybody knows that the English league is a very physical league, but Zlatan is tall, he's strong. I don't think he's going to have a problem with that.
I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I do think Zlatan will be one of those top goal scorers, but I think Aguero will once again be a top goal scorer in the Premier League. He has been up there every season, so I think if Aguero can stay healthy, which is obviously
big if,
because he's never stayed healthy in a while, I think, for Man City. But if he can stay healthy, he's a prolific goal scorer. He knows how to find the back of the net, and I think that he will be the top goal scorer again. He had 24, I believe, last season, and that was with being injured for quite a while. And if he can pick up momentum and not get injured, I think that he'll be the favorite to run away with the goal scoring title. So we'll move on to our surprise player for this season, and who do you got for that one?
I'm going to bring up a guy that casual soccer fans might not know of, Nathan Redmond. I think might turn some heads this season. He already scored a goal in his first game. He played with Norwich City last season. He was a very reliable option. If you follow the English Premier League, you probably know about him. But he's moved teams. He's now with Southampton. And I think that he's going to be a go-to guy there. Southampton has a knack for developing young talent, but right now they're a little bit lacking. Nathan Redmond is listed as a midfielder, but right now he's playing at right forward, and I think he's going to be scoring quite a few goals this season, so I think he's going to be my surprise player.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Not many players, when I think of surprise players, really stick out to me, but Nathan Redmond is one of them. I didn't really watch a lot of his play last season, but Southampton is a team that doesn't score a lot. And I think that Nathan Redmond will be counted on. He will get more playing time as he continues to develop, and he is playing forward now, as you mentioned. So I think he will get a lot more opportunities to score goals and make a bigger impact than he did last season. So I think that with Southampton relying on him more and with the pressure building on him, I think he can use that to his advantage and make a name for himself. So now on to our surprise team. Basically, we're gonna pick a surprise team based on either who's gonna do worse, who's gonna do better. Who do you got on that one?
I'm going to go with the team that I think is going to do better than expected. Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is not a team that people think of when you think of teams that are going to succeed this year in the Premier League.
Definitely not on my radar.
But if you start looking at their lineup, they have pretty solid players all the way up and down the field. Last season, they had a little bit of trouble on defense, but they did sign a keeper from Marseille, Mandanda, who is coming in. He was voted the top goalkeeper in France last season, so obviously a huge upgrade there. Their defense is now strong. In midfield, they have a lot of really good options. They actually just lost Yannick Bolasie, so that actually kind of hurts my selection here, but they still have guys like Johan Cabaye. So I'm not saying they're going to finish top 5 by any means, but I think they are going to potentially challenge for that last Champions League spot, and I don't think that's something that people are going to see coming.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with another team that not really much of a surprise, but I think West Ham, making a bold prediction here, I think West Ham could potentially also be contending for that top 4 spot. They were 7th last season, so it's not that much of a long shot. But I think that that's a team that no one's going to expect. And if they do play well together and everything clicks, I think that they can challenge for that. They have an amazing goalkeeper in Adrian, strong midfield, and a lot of young talent in that midfield. You have Lanzini, Feguli, and then you have Dimitri Payet, who everyone knows, and he shined in the Euros. So with France, and he's making a name. He continues to develop a name for himself. So I think that if that midfield can start clicking and score more goals, even though their defense is not that strong, they were an average defensive team last season, letting in 51 goals. That was among average in the league. I think if their midfield and their forward situation can get going and start scoring, they will be up there. They signed IU up front. So yeah, that was it for today. In terms of our predictions, we were going to do a challenge video, but we decided we will do 2 on Wednesday. So this week, Wednesday, we'll upload another challenge, just 2 challenge videos, and they'll be just 1 point each, just like our standard weekly challenges, just because we haven't done a video in a while. And then we will continue with our usual format next week. So that's all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys later.
Down to the wire.